It's been such a fun process learning about cool flowers, and I'm hoping that we will have some really abundant blooms in the spring. Hey friends, it's Kendall, your joyful farmer. I'm out here in the big garden today and all of the cool flowers we've been growing this year, and I thought I'd just give you an update on what we're growing, how they're overwintering, and how they're doing out here in Zone 8A, 8B in North Texas. So the big garden is nearly half an acre of space where we grow now mostly cut flowers, and this year we've been overwintering a lot of these cool flowers that will survive our winters down to about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So some of these are direct sown, some of them I started indoors in the fall, but we've got a lot going that'll hopefully survive and give us early spring blooms. So this is Larkspur. I have Larkspur that is pink, white, and then purple. And the Larkspur I direct sowed, and when I did that, I did clusters of seeds every 6 inches or so. And some of the varieties of Larkspur have gotten better germination than others. This is the purple back here with seeds that I saved from the year before, and it's looking amazing. But I love growing Larkspur because it reseeds so readily. You'll see I have some volunteers in other areas of the garden. In this row I have poppies. I didn't overseed the poppies, so the germination was not really awesome on them, but I should have a nice little stand of poppies in the spring. This is a few bachelor buttons. That bachelor buttons seem to always do well direct sown in the fall for me. And a different type of poppy. We had a winter storm about 2 weeks ago, and the temperatures got down to, oh hey Leia, the temperatures got down to about 18 degrees Fahrenheit or 17 degrees Fahrenheit, I think was the lowest temperature. That's Leia. That's Luke's, not biological sister, but Luke's sister. She decided to join us today. I've got some more poppies here. There's the poppy rose feathers, and I can't recall what these were, but I had to re-sow poppies a couple of times. What you doing? This is a stand of bachelor buttons. I didn't overseed them. I just put kind of a few seeds, one or two every 6 inches, and most of them came up, which is really nice. And then down here on this row, on the rest of this row, I have poppies that I direct sowed a little bit later than all of the others. It was back in December, so we'll see when they come up. Actually, oh my goodness, I can barely see it, but right there's one. And there's some more. That's awesome. So in January, we've got poppy seeds that are starting to germinate despite the snow and the cold temperatures that we got a couple of weeks ago. That's awesome. This little kind of bare section is Love in a Mist, and I've never actually grown Love in a Mist or Nigella, but we did get some of them to germinate and come up. I should have a few plants in the early spring. These are my Bells of Ireland. I love Bells of Ireland so much. I direct sowed probably 15-foot span of them this year, and I did a little clusters of seeds every 6 to 9 inches, just kind of guesstimating. And where the seeds didn't come up, I actually found extra plants and just kind of plucked them up and plopped them in these spots. So they have done okay with that, just being transplanted kind of on the spot. And despite, again, the snow and cold temperatures a couple weeks ago, they're doing great. This is the little bare patch that has some volunteer larkspur. Oh, the pumpkins are when you run out of sandbags for your row covers. Pro tip, you can use pumpkins. This is agrostemma or corn cockle. I absolutely love this plant. I direct sowed it in the fall, and it's been just so beautiful. It popped up The germination was really, really good on it. I didn't need to do as many seeds as I did. I did little clusters of 3 or 4 seeds every 6 inches or so. And they are just so pretty. I can't wait to see them bloom in the spring. Down here we have some cress. Cress that I just basically sprinkled seeds all along 2 troughs about 1 foot apart. In this row, I've got some stock that I direct sowed in the fall. I didn't get really uniform germination on them, but the ones that have come up, there's quite a few little clusters of plants, so I'm just gonna leave them and kind of see what happens. This is Clarkia, and this I direct sowed. I believe it's the shell pink, but they germinated. They had a pretty good germination rate. I've been a little bit sparse with my seeds just because I haven't wanted to use all of my seeds and have to thin too many of the babies. This is some salmon rose Scabiosa that I direct sowed, and I again was a little bit sparse with my seeds, but you can see there are several little babies here and there, and then we have volunteer larkspur popping up everywhere, and I'll probably have to get rid of those. We've got, this is the paper moon Scabiosa, or the Scabiosa stellata, and I'm really excited to grow this one this year. It's my first time growing it. The ones back here are direct sown, and then these up here are transplants that I grew out inside in the fall and then transplanted out probably around October. And then the rest of the Scabiosa is looking really good. I have some salmon rose Scabiosa. I think there's some Fata Morgana in here, and then some scoop Scabiosa. I think it's the popsicle color. Excited for that. Over here, this is a row of stock and status. This stock has this stock did not survive our really cold temperatures, but it had started blooming already, so it was just not able to withstand the really cold temperatures and snow when that came through a couple of weeks ago. But the rest of the stock looks pretty good. Some of it's still trying to bloom. I'm hoping that the rest of them will hold off until the spring. And back here is some status. My status, the plants are pretty big and they got a little bit bitten by the cold, but I think they'll bounce back and do fine. Over here is some carnation, or that might actually, yeah, I think that's a carnation. I'll have to look that up to make sure I'm right there. There's a little bit of, I want to say that's foxglove in here. Through here, there's a little bit of snapdragons. Snapdragons are hardy to zone 5, so they're pretty incredible with what temperatures they'll withstand in our zone. This is some cress that was transplanted, and it's a lot larger than the little babies that I had direct sown over there. It has a little bit of a head start for sure. And then over here is a whole lot of really nice looking Ami. This is a white dill that makes a really pretty light looking umbel, and it'll be really pretty in bouquets when the spring rolls around. Here I direct sowed Orlea. There's white Orlea, and I just kind of overseeded it. This blank space is Sweet Annie. I tried direct sowing it. Haven't kept it super well watered, so it hasn't really done a whole lot as far as germination. We've got straw flower. Straw flower is kind of borderline whether or not it will survive the winters in our zone. And you can see some of them are a little bit more bitten by frost than others. Some of them look really great. So different varieties of straw flower, I guess, will survive different temperatures. And then here we've got a bunch of stock that was transplanted in, I believe that was in December actually. And I just kept it covered, and then it's looking good. Over here is straw flower that I transplanted. They're planted about every 9 inches apart. And these are, I believe, Dianthus japonicus. damage. But yeah, just trying to see if they'll survive our winter this year. There's more Scabiosa. And then down here is more Status. And some Orlea that I transplanted out here. Oh, no, wait, yeah, that's Orlea. Then we can skip across here. This row was actually double covered with frost fabric, so it was kept extra toasty. It is Status and Strawflower, as well as some Dianthus japonicus and Feverfew. So I think this row really appreciated the extra coverage. And most of them have made it okay. The tops of these Strawflowers got bitten off by cold. They probably were too close to the fabric and just got bitten, but they just got pinched is all. The rest of the Strawflower looks okay. Oh, there's a couple more that look kind of sad, but different Strawflowers will withstand different temperatures, so some of them might not make it through the winter. This is Dianthus japonicus, and this is just done so well. I transplanted it out, and you can just see all these little shoots that are going to end up producing blooms in the early spring. I cannot wait. I'm so happy that they've done as well as they have. Can't wait to see them bloom. And Feverfew is supposed to be hardy to zone, I believe 5 or 6. So it should make it through our winter with no problems at all. Last year, my Feverfew was really waterlogged over in the other side of the garden. We've had to add quite a bit of material to try to elevate some of those areas that got really swampy last spring. We had a really wet spring, and so the Feverfew didn't make it. It got some wet roots and it wasn't very happy. But I've got some Vegmo Sunnyball and some, I'll have to look up the other 2 varieties. I think there's a Feverfew. It's the fluffy white Feverfew, the fluffy yellow Feverfew, and then some of the classic looking Feverfew. And then down here on the end, I have some, this is called Million Blooms Feverfew from Haas. It's more grown just for medicinal purposes, but we'll see how that compares to the other ones. It's got a different colored foliage, which is interesting. And then we've got some more white dill or Ami that I just kind of filled in on the end. And the Lisianthus over here got pretty well bitten by the cold. I didn't have them super well covered whenever the cold and snow came through the last time, so I'm thinking that they may have just gotten a little bit too much frost damage on the top, some of them, but a lot of them have this nice growth underneath. So essentially, I just think they're getting pinched. The tops are going to be pinched off, and then they'll have some really nice growth from the sides of all the plants. So I'm really not too concerned about the Lisianthus making it into springtime. It's supposed to be hardy to zone 7 with no coverage, so it should be just fine. I just wanted to show you back here really quickly. There's this little section that's got volunteer bachelor buttons and volunteer larkspur just all in here. So I thought maybe this little section back here next to our blackberry trellis, maybe I'll just have this be like a chaos gardening type situation and I'll just throw some additional seeds out here in the bare spots and let the larkspur and the bachelor buttons go crazy and just kind of see what happens in the spring. So those are all the little babies that we've got overwintering down here in the big garden. I hope that was fun for you to see. We have some temperatures coming in that are going to be down into the upper teens Fahrenheit, and so we're going to get these babies covered back up today. So I'm going to go ahead and get them, it's so windy out here, but I'm going to get them watered really well so that they're hydrated, and we'll get them covered back up. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I wish you joy, and I'll see you next time.